Good evening once again. Welcome to another edition here in the Issues Room. Tonight we come your way with our 88th edition. Today is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. Wherever you are, welcome. Welcome to the broadcast. Invite a friend, share the link, invite someone. Um, we're here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the Issues Room page on Facebook. I'm Volcano Shelton, coming your way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Your anchor here this evening. Great conversation we're going to have. We'll be talking about the interview with Nathaniel McGill, the suspended and sanctioned Minister of State, Presidential Affairs, Republic of Liberia, that he had with Al Jazeera, a credible news source in the globe. However, we're going to look at that interview, dissect it, play with it a little bit, talk about the role of McGill in the interview and the journalist. And we'll also be looking at the Ganta Rehab Center out there in Nima County. Um, those folks there working for free, while you got people in the Senate making plenty of money, ministers and all of that. But the folks there, you know, I'll say working for free, and so they went on the go slow, and just thinking about where to work, the health condition in that area, is scary. So we'd like to welcome you. Let me go to Delaware now, where Moses Standy is standing by. uh Welcome, Moses. It's good to be back here on the 88th edition. It's going to be a good one.
Thank you, Volcano. Yes, it's always good to be in the issues room. Like I told you before, we are getting older. The issues room today is 88th edition. It's good that we continue to break the news. We continue to inform and educate. So it's always pleasing to be in the issues room. My man, how did the Labor Day go?
Well, I think it speaks for itself. Labor. So I went to work.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I had to take some time out, so I was home here,
Nah,
chilling a little
nah,
bit.
I went to work, man. What difference does it make? You do it all year, then one day you want to run. And America is so unforgiving, to be frank. That one day,
Yeah,
that gas money, oh,
of course you're talking
even
about.
though you would take a time off,
Yeah, take the time
but
off. Yeah, yeah,
you save your time off for rainy day. Yeah, you got to save your
yeah.
time off for rainy day. So yeah, I went to
Mhm.
work, and today was a very wet day here in our area. I don't know about Delaware, but it
It
rained
was the same, my man. I
torrentially. Yeah,
woke up this
yeah,
morning, my man. It was pouring heavily. Even my daughter said went to school in the rain. Yeah, it was very pooling.
yeah.
Hmm.
All right, Moses. I don't think we trending with trending news tonight, because the conversation here tonight will take precedent. So I think we should just roll the dice, or
Yeah,
you have
uh,
something.
yeah, it's something very, very important. Volcano, this is very important. Let us not let this pass by. Uh, the UN General Assembly, the 77th section of the UN General Assembly, will convene this month in New York, the United States of America. And this is an assembly that's supposed to bring together world leaders, including President George Weah. These people are supposed to assemble to discuss the national issues affecting the world. So, Mr. Weah is expected to be here with a delegation. But the breaking news is that the government is finding it difficult. There are some significant glitches here. This is real unusual. Normally when the president is making this kind of international trip abroad, uh, the foreign ministry takes the lead in arranging, making all the travel arrangements and securing visas and all of that. And so they are the U.S. State Department reached out to the foreign ministry that, hey, President, we and others supposed to be traveling to the United States. We want you guys to initiate the process for securing visa. However, and for Canada, this is very interesting. Say for how this time around, normally you would just submit a list, and visas will be issued out. But the State Department is saying that every individual coming, with the exclusion of the president, will have to go through the rigorous process of the
Being
visa
interviewed.
screening process.
Yeah.
It means that if Moses send his name is on that list, Moses will have to apply for himself, and he has to justify why he has to come. So it's that is going to be a very rigorous process. They will be doing thorough vetting to determine who comes and who doesn't come, and this is happening in the wake of the U.S. Treasury Department sanction. And there's also this report that in the past, former officials of Liberia came to the United States for the UN General Assembly. A good number of them never went back home.
You
That
give
could
it?
also be one of. Oh yeah, people
You give
give
it?
it.
The
Yeah, people
minute give
give it.
it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So George Weah and his people are really challenged now, and I don't think that is good. It's not good. It's not good at all because for all the years you and I have covered Liberian politics, this is really unusual. They don't normally screen our people like that. I don't know. Maybe you want to say something.
Yeah, quickly, man. Listen, when you have a government that doesn't take the actions necessary,
Hmm.
uh, they just further deepen the problems for themselves. And
Yeah,
we've said this repeatedly. The president sets the tune. The president heads the country. Whatever the president does is a representation of the country's image. When the president dance buka, it means the country is dancing buka. When the president go to studio to make music, mean that everybody want to, because get what it is, Moses. You and I know that when you look at leaders, because the fact that they set the tune, everyone emulates.
of
The
course.
little
Yeah.
kids look up to the leaders that lead our world. Okay? So if they
Yeah.
find it playful, if the leader rather is found playful, the kids will do playful things.
The same
And
thing. Yeah.
so it's serious stuff. And President Weah takes these things for granted until he gets,
Yeah.
pushed against the wall. And
Mhm.
and quite frankly, it's gonna be very very rigorous for his
Yeah.
delegate. And get what it is. When the president came to power early, you know what he
Mhm.
was doing: chartering
Yeah.
plane, carrying everybody.
Yeah.
Johnny just come then with
Yeah.
our own
Just
airplane going all over the place.
all over the
It
place.
was
Yeah.
an opportunity for them to fly alongside the president. Now
Yeah.
these delegations have to shrink because all this per diem you're giving people to just come here and hang around,
Hanging
it's
around.
not
Basically,
yeah.
no
So you want to
contribution to the trip.
let
No
me finish quick.
contribution.
You
Yeah.
want to
Mhm.
bring regular people who, I mean, when I say regular people who have credible, tangible
Mhm.
results to bring back to Liberia, people who,
Yeah.
while you at the United Nations, are able to go other places and lobby for support in different areas. You
Mhm.
don't just bring every Tom, Dick, and Harry because they want to come to America. So I'm believing that the screening will be very rigorous, as you
Very,
said,
very good.
but it's for a purpose because the taxpayers cannot continue to pay for all these people to come and enjoy the per diem, travel on the expense in first class and go back to Liberia with nothing. You show
Mhm.
nothing, you don't address the country, you don't bring back any good news. So I think that was a right way to look at it. Let people who would travel based on,
Very.
what substance they're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Tonight we're
And
going to be discussing Nathaniel McGill's, you know, as I would say, his interview with Al Jazeera, and who better can, because he was here with us the last time when we jumped right on the sanction story. So
mhm.
our man, our good friend and brother, who has agreed to come here as a discussant tonight because of the significance of this interview. Prior to me even engaging him to come, when I talked to him, he was like, "Man, I'm disappointed, and I really want to be there so we can have this conversation tonight." So, viewers, listeners, wherever you are, Ansu Dualu is here with us tonight to discuss this and plus other things. Welcome, Dualu. How you doing?
Thank you so much, Volcano. Thank you, my brother Moses. It's a pleasure to be as always. But I want
Sure.
to make some clarity. It's very important on the show last night.
Yeah.
I mentioned that Honorable McGill was going to be here after I took a look at the pamphlet. But by the time I went back and read through the pamphlet, it's already gone. So I want to be clear to the audience. Honorable McGill is not going to be here. We're going to be discussing Honorable McGill. I just want to
Yeah.
be absolutely clear about that.
Well, people thought he
But
was going to be here
yes,
by
when I
the
first,
flyer. Is that what they were
yeah, by the
thinking?
flyer initially,
Yeah, when they saw the promo,
yeah, a lot of
yeah.
people were calling me. So I was like, oh, yeah. And then by the time I announced it, the show went back, I realized it wasn't supposed to be that way. But like
Okay.
I said, I just want to make that
Well,
clarity.
when we
Yeah.
do these flyers, sometimes, Ansu, we do these flyers, and you put the man's name and the word. This is the world's, a platform.
Yeah,
Who would be able to align the face, or not everyone in the world knows about Nathaniel McGill,
My God,
right?
I agree.
yeah.
Our circle will know. So we put the photo there so that people know who we're talking about. No,
Correct.
Nathaniel McGill, and we'll come to that. Nathaniel McGill is room because it's not an ordinary place to come. Taking an interview from Al Jazeera, where a journalist is a cub reporter who is still an apprentice who learning how to do interviews. That's the kind of people, and maybe the man go ahead, so he was comfortable in that case. But he's not
Yeah.
going to come in the issues room.
No,
I
he's
put a
not.
challenge out to Nathaniel McGill. Come in the issues
Yeah.
room. Come
Yeah.
in the issues room. All right. But yeah, so
I
gentlemen,
want to,
welcome. Let me just quickly welcome Amma Freeman. Thank you so much, my bro, for coming in. Flomo Livingstone, Destiny. It's good having you in the house for the first time. I see Amy Bachu. She's been here a few times, so we say welcome to you folks. Let's start this conversation. Um, Ansu, I'll let you go first. You saw the interview. Mr. McGill made some very, very, how do I put it? Lame excuses, put it that way, lame excuses in the interview. But the one that caught my eye when he said that there are many Nathaniel McGills in Liberia, and the people masquerading, people got caught impersonating him, and blah 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 blah. But this is the first time I've heard of this. The first time I heard of this that people have impersonated him. So let's start with that first because we want to make sure that Nathaniel McGill is the Nathaniel McGill that the United States government knew who he was and did not make any mistake, because he also said somebody just wanted to, put him out there. But the
Yeah.
truth is that he's not corrupt. No businessman in Liberia can ever step forward to say he's corrupt. Let's start from there.
well, like I said, welcome to the audience. It's always a privilege to be in the issues room. It's a big deal. But I want to start with, as always, to welcome the young people in the country. We have your heart. Everything we do is for you to inherit a better Liberia than we did. And you have to get involved in your country for that country to move forward. But my brother Moses mentioned something initially about scrutinizing the visa applications of
Well,
people coming with President Weah. Even the chief of staff of the army. There's something happening in the country. Most people that are associated with the president.
Ansu, I'm so sorry. Can you say what you were saying again? Because we're losing you. So let's just start from where, when you said the young people would do this for them.
Oh, okay. So, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, we do this for the young people because it's crucially important that they inherit a better Liberia than we did. But in order for that to happen, they got to get involved. It is they who are going to inherit this location. They are the legatees of Liberia. They have to get involved. They have to make the right decisions. They have to push the issues so Liberia can get better. We can do the talking, but they themselves have to stand up. But I will mention about the visa issue. This is becoming a trend. The reason why the Americans are scrutinizing heavily government officials coming from Liberia is for a singular reason. Even the AFL mentioned this. They have soldiers coming into Michigan, they're running away. Most of these officials realizing, yes, the chief of staff of the army mentioned this. So what? Because they're sending a very bad message. But most government officials realizing that they may not go back into power. So some of them are coming with President We are. They might try to leave because they got what 10 months, 11 months. The probability of being reelected is very slim. So this is what this is happening. This is why they're being overly scrutinized. But I want to say to him, speak to the question you ask. Honorable McGill has to understand one thing. This is very simple. When you are receiving an indictment from the American, there is no equivocations. There is no mistake that they're picking the wrong person. They don't just, this is not some, oh, he shoplifted gum from a store. No, this is a combination. First of all, there is only one singular Nathaniel McGill who is the chief of staff to the president. What was the office title? I forgot. Minister of
Yes,
State, Presidential
Minister of
Affairs.
State for
Minister of
yeah
State for
There is only one
presidential.
person, and I can guarantee you, if Honorable McGill reads the evidence that was listed against him, this is not some drive by Nathaniel McGill being spoken about. They listed everything that he's responsible for that being listed in the application. So, Mr. McGill, first of all, just to squash all of that, there is no mistake being made here on who they're talking to. The argument you can make is, I did not do this or I did do it. But the issue of making a mistake, that doesn't hold water because that's not a mistake. And I'll give it back to you guys.
Moses?
yeah yeah. Look, I would like to begin by taking a closer look at the man Nathaniel Follow McGill. Before his recent situation, before the sanction, Mr. McGill was considered the de facto president of Liberia.
Mhm.
McGill was indeed seen in many quarters as Liberia's prime minister. He had close proximity to power. McGill appointed people to government positions at will. Whenever he walked the streets of Monrovia, Monrovia stood still. He went to Nimba, Nimba stood still. He went to Bon County stood still. Magibi, wherever he went, he was throwing money here and there. So when talking about somebody that is unknown locally and internationally, we're talking about a man who was very powerful. Before becoming a prominent person in government, McGill's first position in the CDC was Secretary General. Later, he became chairman of the CDC. Fortunately for him, when they won the election in 2017, he was appointed Minister of State, meaning that he became the conduit to the presidency, one of the most influential presidents. So this guy was very powerful. And let me say this. Before coming to government, Nathaniel McGill was a very poor man. And let me share this information with you guys. Uh, McGill, for the fact that McGill was a very poor man, this man came to Philadelphia in 2017. I want to remind Minister McGill on this. The CDC convened a town hall meeting. I was in that meeting. And we were all sitting there, educated people, people with PhDs, masters, sitting there. And McGill took to the podium to criticize the Saliva administration. I said, well, Saliva administration paying people thousands of dollars. And he rhetorically asked us whether any of us in that hall was making $30,000 a year. And everybody burst into laughter. Then Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, who accompanied him on that trip, and I heard him say to Mr. McGill, say, Chairman McGill, he said, yeah, the people laughing at you because that money you're talking about are small money. I mean, the guys intelligently insulted us. You're looking at people with higher education, you ask them who was making $30,000 a year.
He
It
couldn't
means that
comprehend it.
somebody making $16 an hour. So people burst into laughter, and answer. So that just speaks to the fact that before coming to prominence, McGill was a very poor man. The guy could not imagine someone earning $30,000 a year.
Correct. Think about it.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a man who came to prominence. He occupied one of the most powerful positions in Liberia, and he started spending money loosely. You go to Bon County, the man is undertaking projects supervised and implemented by expatriates. As Minister of State, how much do you earn? You
Five
don't
thousand
earn
dollars.
anything more than $6,000 a month. Where are you getting the money from? And there are reports that you were what? Taking bribes from potential investors. Like Ansu said, these charges were not just made because somebody hit you as an individual, but the records are there and the evidences are overwhelming. I would like to pause there and get back to you, Ansu.
Okay, well, Mr. McGill has to understand something. You know, sometimes, even when he gave the interview to Al Jazeera, one of the
Yeah.
things I wanted him to do is to be quiet. If I were McGill, I'll be absolutely quiet. I had a friend of mine. We went to grade school together. He's a lawyer now, and we would talk sometimes. He said, "Ensu, no one person knows enough truth or enough lies to tell the entire truth. When the police ask you, you have to be absolutely quiet because even if you don't know anything, you are not guilty. Sometimes the mere fact you talk, you can make yourself guilty. It is that simple. So keep
Yeah.
quiet." He was speaking now. McGill's been speaking throughout the country. He goes to Bone County. One time, the interviewer asked him, Honorable McGill, with everything happening in the country, first of all, the salary, according to Samuel 12, nobody in the country makes more than $7,000 a month. This is
Oh.
their claim. This is
Mhm.
documented claim. So if you take out taxes, that means Honorable McGill at the most is taking home $5,000 per month.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's assume for the sake of conversation he has $5,000 a month. There is no
Yeah.
freaking way he even built the house that he's currently in. Number one. And number two, he lied that he took a loan from the bank when he first came to power. What collateral did you use to take a loan from the bank? And have you paid the bank back the money? If you're making $5,000 a month, there's no freaking way you pay over $200,000 in 5 years. We know how these things work, especially in Liberia, where they're charging you north of 15, 20% on the loan. Okay. And number three, Honorable McGill said he have organizations that he go to that help him out here and there. They give him money. First of all, it's illegal. This is why you shouldn't even be talking when you occupy an official position. There are rules to that. Yes, in Liberia, we tend not to observe those rules, but those rules are still on the book. Internationally, you can be held for those. So you cannot use on Shelton's organization because it's in Liberia. Look, when I ran my outfit in Liberia, I know exactly what he's talking about. Officials will call you and they want things from you. They want things from you, and you have to pay. They demand it. You don't pay, you're not going to get your check. That's the way it is. So McGill believes the Americans just gotta want money, and somebody lie on him, and the American took that as gospel. That's not how it works. The people sometimes will give you 5 years. They will gather the evidence until the evidence is sufficient. I mean, sufficient beyond a reasonable doubt. Then they indict you. I'll give it back to you guys.
So let me come in here quick. So when you look at and he's sitting there looking so relaxed, but in the context of trying to play, what the word is feel sorry for me because
Yes.
somebody lie on me.
It's
Yeah,
somebody.
the feel sorry for me kind of posture. Somebody lie on me, so my people you feel sorry for me. And then he goes to praise the Americans
Never get
thinking
out,
that
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
no, no. You see, he goes, yeah, your feel sorry for me. And he you see how he dresses? He put one little old jeans trouser on and a t-shirt so he looks like he not wearing kosu again. Nah, not
No, you're
kosu
not
now.
building mausoleums. No.
Yeah, no more mausoleum, no more,
No,
how much? $50 million Liberian scholarship. He not
no,
dishing out
no,
now.
no,
So
no.
because he know what the little one that he keeping now, how long it will last. So he trying to play your fee side for me. But he has the mind to say here. Honestly, he has the mind to say that the Americans, yeah, I get American democracy. I believe in American and blah blah blah. But then also, President, we are serious about corruption. The President, we
Yeah.
are not serious about corruption. Look around here. But you're the first person who did we are ever bring to book for
Yeah.
corruption?
Thank you.
All the other internal fingers that were pointing. We've talked about the conflict of interest over time here on this platform regarding your folks who are in the health ministry as minister, got clinic hospital. We're
Mhm.
talking about your education minister has school and education minister. We're talking about your agriculture minister who is a businesswoman who took 100,000
100,000.
plus and gave to her brother for a project that they didn't even value that. So all of these things are happening and you don't, shake. So how can you say, Nathaniel McGill, that George Weah is fighting corruption? But George
And
Weah was compelled to place you because it is the first act. But however, it is still questionable. Your suspension is not detailed. It doesn't tell us whether you're still close to the president.
That's
It
a
doesn't
nothing.
tell us whether you're using government cars. It doesn't tell us whether you're on salary. It doesn't tell us you were stripped of your keys, turn them over. All of these things. So it was just a vague suspension. So when you sit there and play the sorry for look, the people are not stupid. You can grow your beard until it turns gray. You can grow your hair until you look like you're already a prisoner. They're not stupid. Don't play with
yeah,
us here. We know
yeah.
better.
Hello, Volcano. Let me just piggyback on the falsehood emanating from Minister McGill that George Weah is more committed to fighting corruption than any other Liberian president. Like the writer said, Nathaniel McGill, Mr. McGill is not an honest person. The records are all over the place that George Weah is extremely corrupt. He's not committed to fighting graft. And let me give you some example. As I speak to you now, I'm sure you may have seen this video that circulated social media regarding the theft of petroleum products at the LPRC. The gentleman called Taflet Joe, I mean not Taflet Joe, but one Zolizo, who was head of security. This guy was saying in a video, stealing petroleum products. The LPRC authority suspended him. In most civilized structured organizations, that was what immediate dismissal and prosecution. But by Liberian standard, they suspended him. Zolizo took to the airway and went on a rant. Oh, these people, they hate me, and we have to do this. George Weah is my man, and this and that. He challenged the authority. What happened? He served the suspension, and what did Mr. Weah do? He reinstated him and reassigned him. Is someone who committed to fighting graft do that answer?
Well,
Somebody who was seen in a video literally stealing. You reassign the man to another position at the same company. When Mr. Weah took over the
But do we
presidency
know?
of
Do we know what? Do we know whether the man went through due process and
he
he
was
was
investigating.
informed?
He was told to go through an investigation process, right? But Volcano, for the fact that this guy was saying openly, defying authority at the LPRC, saying openly, engaging in thievery.
But I don't want us to focus on this guy. I want us to focus on the Nathaniel McGill. I know you
Yeah,
gave an
no,
example. Now
yeah,
let's move
yeah.
back
So
to
he's just
McGill.
one of the bad apples.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
yeah.
come back to another thing. McGill said George Weah is committed. You spoke about it. The situation at the agriculture ministry. This woman was what? Indicted. What do you do as a good leader? Don't you suspend her immediately and institute a probe? Mr. Weah looked the other way. The $25 million Samuel Tue is still in government. He looked the other way. The raw fund with Samuel Tue misdirecting that. Mr. Weah looked the other way.
So let me
Mr.
say
Weah
this.
is in the, yes.
Do you know why he looks the other way? Because all of
Go
those
ahead.
monies he's benefiting at a top tier.
Yeah,
He's benefiting at a top tier. Let me tell you
of
something.
course.
Those guys will not be brave to do what they're doing if we
thank
are
you.
is not fully involved.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, there's no money that goes around in Liberia. We ain't got a hand in it.
Thank you.
No money. Jamaica Resort is like a cartel. You go there, people who go to that place, all the government officials are where to go hang out all day.
Yeah.
They sitting there playing Ludo Choco, Finabondo there, all the what do you call it? Screening people. they run the government from there. And somebody
Yeah.
was even arguing, oh yeah, the president can run the government from anywhere.
Yeah.
So they spend more time over there.
Yeah.
So all day people going in and out.
Mhm.
You can't tell me the president is not aware of every monies that moving about in that country.
No, he is. Volcano, and Brother Moses did say something, and I don't want us to skip this. And you
Yeah.
asked a question as to whether, and McGill mentioned that President Weah cares
It's
about fighting
committed.
corruption or care about fighting graft. You mentioned the agriculture ministry. This lady was not just only indicted.
Mhm.
The Anti-Corruption Commission wrote a report on her. What did President Weah do? He tried to dismiss every single person at the Anti-Corruption Commission to literally
Yeah.
nullify this case. It was
Yeah.
direct contradiction of that. At the NEC, when this lady gave contracts to her brother that were far exceeded the value of these contracts, President, we had the absolutely nothing. There are countless other reports from these organizations. If you notice today on Front Page Africa, when President Weah first came to power, he made a speech. And in his speech, this is what he said: Liberians would not be spectators in the economy. The government put aside almost $3 million, and that money was going to be utilized to help Liberian businesses come up. What the president we are doing? They submitted the money to the bank. Citizens went in. People that were not doing business, they siphoned off all this money. In fact, up to date, the $3 million literally gone. They cannot account for 2 million because part of the 2 million, the government did not even deposit that money into the bank account so it can be adequately distributed. It's if to say the $25 million that were done on the miniature scale. So not only does President Weah doesn't care about corruption, he promotes corruption with his actions and inactions. Because President Weah is a direct beneficiary of the corruption acts in Liberia. Look, this man doesn't want to be president. When I say this, people say, "Oh, Dualu, you jealous of the man? You jealous?" Look, listen, I'll eat anything. I'll eat. I eat. I will drive my car. I will live in a house. It has nothing to do with jealousy. If we want proper sanitation in Liberia, that's not jealousy. If we want adequate transportation, decent quality school system for our children, so they can get the same education we got, it is not jealousy. It's just wanting more for your country. President Weah is not cut out for the task. What he wants is the fanfare of the office and not the responsibilities that come with that office. And this is an issue. That's why I say to the president, we are low. Listen, you, according to you, you already set a record. There's no big deal. Step aside, sir. You don't have the wherewithal to run this country. Do your people a great favor and resign. If you don't want to resign, say, listen, 2023, I'm not going to run so proper leadership can come and take over this country. Because if I continue to fail this country, the hardship in Liberia right now could quantify, digitize if President Weah, for some miracle, wins another term. This is not a joking matter. The real lives at stake here. I'll give it back to you guys.
And honestly, the guy he has not done anything to change the image of his government. He's been
No,
stuck with the same group of seditious running around the place with him, and they just feel that he feels obligated to them rather being obligated to the country.
to the country. Exactly.
That's the problem I have with George Weah.
Me too.
Listen, 5 years of Nathaniel McGill corruption, 5 years of what they call him Samuel Tour's
Samuel
corruption,
Toy.
5 years of these guys, they built Toy. That's sufficient. Let them go sit somewhere, find other people who will change your country's image. But don't continue to punish the people only because of your
Yeah.
diehard loyalty to your party and your party people. And even in your own party, a lot of the people don't even benefit anything.
No,
No.
they're angry.
But
They're angry.
he better speaks to his own
You
party
know.
chairman. Let me
So
tell
Not for
you.
his
Not about
country.
Molo.
I
Yeah.
don't care about the part to the country.
yeah. No, but I'm just saying that even with all of the things that are happening, the party, not everybody enjoying the grievance.
No.
No,
They just diehard loyalists. They put once they can put a t-shirt on their bread berry and be hungry, they will
got
still
it.
do zigway.
Yeah.
But so let's come back to the issue here of the Al Jazeera journalist.
Yeah.
The Al Jazeera journalist, and this was a credible interview when you look at it from the media outlet that this guy was representing. He first of all, we don't see him, okay, except where I saw his clip on Al
Yeah.
Jazeera. Yeah, on Sunday, right? I saw
Yeah.
his clip. I recorded the clip, but it's a little too fuzzy to play. But it was just a clip of summarizing his interview coupled with what is actually trending in the country regarding the cost of living and how it's skyrocketed to the point. But he did not even look at more of the issues. So the interview, Dualu, you saw the interview. Were you impressed with that journalist? Did it like make you feel like juking yourself with Nita because he was not asking the kind of questions?
Not
He
even
made
just that.
Nathaniel
First
McGill
of
so comfortable to lie. He didn't
this,
push him off the cliff. He didn't shake him until all his feather fell from his body. He didn't make him sweat. The guy was too comfortable. Tell me.
so many things happening in that interview, Brother Moses, that pissed me off. Let me say this the first thing. First of all, Honorable McGill's posture, he was just literally lying there in the seat. It was not
Yeah.
even a serious interview. Number two, the cameraman and the interviewer, they were not professional. Everything was shaking everywhere. They were not set for this interview. And this is another thing I noticed. To show how insignificant our country is becoming, they sent amateurs to Liberia to interview our very top people in the country. If you look at it, the interviewer's face, a complete amateur. I was trying to find his name to Google and find out, when the last time he was out of school, how long he's been doing it. The guy was so amateurish, he couldn't even decide what he wanted to ask. And number two, look, if you come to a location, you're on an obligation, because here's another thing. Our government officials insult us and refuse to go to Liberian platforms that can ask them the right questions. They would rather
Okay.
take foreigners that do not understand the nitty gritty, because the guy didn't even know what to ask. He was literally fiddling around, trying to look for questions to ask Mr. McGill when there are thousands of questions to be asked
Matter of
this
fact,
man.
at one point in the interview, he said, "This is my last question," but then
Yeah,
he went on
it
for the
went
maybe
on.
a
You're absolutely right.
yeah.
So it's
So
like, I'm
so
like,
it's
what's
like
going on here?
yeah,
Yeah,
he was not prepared. He
he was
didn't know
not
the
prepared.
subject matter.
Nope.
He didn't do his research well.
He did
So
not.
he made Nathaniel McGill to look, you know, a little too at ease, like you said,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then appealing to the Liberian people to feel sorry for him. But why these guys cannot give us the opportunity to have the conversation?
Because they
Yeah.
know we know the issues for
Yeah.
Canada. The bureau know. A Nathaniel McGill will not face Moses Sandy. He will not face Volcano
Come on the
Shelton.
show.
He will not face Ansu because we follow developments in Liberia
It's our country.
consistently. We know what is happening. McGill will not come and tell you and I that he's not corrupt. We're asking,
Look,
McGill, when you came to government, how much you had in your bank account? When did you become a millionaire and start throwing money all over the place? McGill cannot come here. I challenge him. If he say we are lying, let him send us his contact information. We can bring him on tomorrow.
But
I
why
want
the
to
man get
declare
go?
that.
Why
No,
the man?
Volcano,
Oh, hold on now.
I challenge Mr. McGill. If he says that what we are seeing is not true, I challenge him to reach us tonight. We don't come on Wednesday, but we will do
no, it's not.
everything to accommodate him tomorrow. So we can question. Let's discuss.
But listen now.
Yeah.
The man who man say he not campaigning for them again. Why the man get go ahead? Oh man, Fagon one mentor. But Fagon said tired with the people, my man.
Well, if I can't give up, man.
The
But
man
look,
say, you are here to be, but you just not going to be eating lobster and showing it on Facebook.
You know, again, the problem is, it pisses me off because these guys insult the privilege that we've given them.
yeah,
This is a tremendous honor, an awesome
yeah,
responsibility to be able to
yeah.
govern your people. And the minute you're so cavalier about this thing, they just don't care. Look, McGill was sitting down. Look, as a professional, you're being interviewed for the conditions in your country.
A
Or
major,
just
yeah.
a t-shirt, literally
Mhm.
a t-shirt. I mean, I don't care. Go throw a coat over that thing. People think it don't matter, but you and I both know it matters.
It matters. First impression.
It matters. This is what
Yeah,
goes out there to the international community. They will see you. In fact, sometimes your appearance can make your case for you.
absolutely.
But you would think somebody of McGill's age, I don't know how old he is, but I know at least he's in his 50s. And
He's in your
to,
50s, yeah.
to just sit there and say, and be making false claims, so many people using my name on Facebook. Do you really believe the Americans went to Facebook to make a case against you?
Mm-hmm.
It may be contributing factors, but it's not going to be the major factors. Look,
Of course not.
I could have gone to Liberia and spent 3 to 6 months in Liberia and make a case and provide evidence if I have the proper tools against McGill and his theft of the Republic. Nobody in the Republic of Liberia, who the maximum salary in the country is no more than $7,000, according to the government itself. can
Yeah.
go to counties, a big dishing out $1 million, be making promises. Where's this money coming from? Oh, I own no business in the country.
Mhm.
And
But
we know
also,
pre-government.
when you
Go
think
ahead,
about
brother.
the irony of situation here, yes, this government came and did harmonization.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we forget to know here. This government
Yeah.
went and said, listen, you're
They
making too much
harmonization.
money
You're
selling,
making too much
so
money.
we'll
Yeah.
reduce your salary so that at least it compensates for the poor people.
Yeah.
But in the scheme of that, these guys are still filthy rich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Few people.
They're printing the kinds of bills that will make it easy for them to carry Liberian dollars on them.
absolutely.
$500 bill, $1,000
1,000.
bill.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have 30 pieces of $1,000 bill, it can fit in your wallet. You're walking
Oh yeah.
around with 30 G,
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
30 G.
Yeah.
So they guys, they guys, they're just doing this because they know that. And the sad thing, they didn't see this coming. They didn't see this sanction coming. They thought they were going to do this. And the last thing you want to do is to mess with the donor people money. The last thing you want to do as a government is to misappropriate, misuse, squander, steal monies that you did not get out of your natural resources. Monies that people giving you to stay afloat as a government.
Yeah.
You have to account for it. There's no way. There's a paper trail from the onset to the end result. You have to account for it. And I'm sure that in all of the investigation done, many of those monies could not be accounted for.
Of course not.
And they're seeing how these guys are living in opulence, how these guys are having the greatest time of their lives. They see the flights. They see that they're flying business class. They see how much the flight costs. The cost of the flight sometimes $12,000, $15,000.
Yes.
And what are they
Yeah.
going for? Sometimes leisure trips. And but not only that, they're not only flying by themselves, they're flying with an entourage. In that
Yeah.
entourage,
Yeah.
some people who don't have to be on that trip because they want to have, some of those folks flying for the first time. And
Yeah.
this is a shame. They think that the camera is not on them. Everything you do it on Facebook. What make you think that we're not saying these things? So I just wanted to throw that in there when they're arguing about OXYZ. No, you did harmonization. So to back your point, how much is your salary to sustain you for 5 years in this kind of luxury? This kind of luxury.
But Volcano,
fantastic.
before you get into Moses, I want to make this
Yeah,
point.
you come in.
Yeah.
I've been in America for nearly 25 years and I've been working. I
You-
still cannot
Get that kind of money.
No.
go
No, you can't.
$200,000. I mean, I've
No.
made more than that, but it's
Yeah,
not so
but
many things. But
yeah.
these guys to have bank accounts. So you're talking about a man in a third world country. My salary is consistent. My pay has been consistent. But you're talking about a man in a third world country in 5 years to amass this kind of wealth. And you think that the people will just go after you because they don't know you?
They hate you.
Go ahead.
You
Uncle.
know, quote
Okay,
unquote
I want
hate
to make
you.
this
Yeah.
point. If you remember when the CDC first came to power in 2018, but the very first 2 years, Honorable McGill did not touch his salary. If you remember the case where he said somebody hacked his bank account and it turned out it was his wife, Vivian Innes, was actually using the money. So the first 2 years, boy, this boy living up. Remember now, previous to that 2 years, the boy could
Mhm.
barely afford $40 a month in rent. Okay, this is the boy for the first 2 years they come to power. How was he living for that 2 years? If you are not
Yeah.
touching your salary, the salary is going to a separate. Look, the tracking Honorable McGill's crimes is so easy. It is obvious. You go to a bank and borrow $200,000, according to you, using what collateral?
Yeah.
We all know how that worked out. It was red by red back. Let's see the paper trail of how you're paying this. And one of the things the guys don't realize is nearly every single bank in America, I think with the exception of UBA, is attached to a foreign bank, normally an American bank. That means the internal controls can actually be requested by these banks. And another thing people don't realize for the first 10 years, well, for at least 10 years in this country, before President Weah became president of Liberia or even senator, he filed taxes in this country. They know exactly what he was worth. And I'll give it to you.
And
No,
that's another key point. That's another key point.
Yeah.
So
another-
after all of this, we're going to see how much we will walk away with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a silly one. And let me just piggyback quickly on Minister McGill's appearance for the Al Jazeera news interview. Anyone who watched that interview will agree that he appeared disheveled. He
I agree.
seemed real depressed, unkempt, and you know what it means to be minister of state, appearing like one street boy for a major news interview like that, sitting there like any other boys down the street, you know. Like you said earlier, Volcano, first, appearance, first impression matters a lot. And what is happening now, it just shows that right now, Mr. McGill is struggling with some form of depression. He's paying little or no attention to his personal, outlook. And he has to begin to do some work on that, you know.
That's
The
why I say that it
charges,
has to do with him trying to make it look that he's sorry for, you know.
yeah,
No, no.
and that's not going to cut it. That's
The
not going to cut it.
Liberian people buy that stuff in Liberia. We know better.
Yeah,
We know
yeah,
better. Look, you cannot pity a criminal if that criminal harms the entire society. Let me tell. Look, let people understand the bigger picture. For every decision Nathaniel McGill makes, and that decision takes away from the people, it kills directly. It killed our people. So people that are corrupted, by extension, they are murderers. This is not joking thing. It's destroying our country. We are stagnated permanently because of the poor decisions this guy continued to make to the country, to the detriment of everybody else. So that
yeah.
sorrowful thing, let he keep it for the pastors that are praying for him in Bond County. But not to, people
And
who are
and you just because you
I
just took
forgot
out
to
the next
have mercy on him, right?
no no no
just
no.
yeah, hold on now. You just took out to the next point. I'll come to that quickly. Let me just do our intermission here. But before that, Judith Farr says here, look, guys, those guys don't understand that the recording that the chairman of the
Yeah,
CDC mobile
Yeah,
model made, that
yeah,
conversation, the liquor talk conversation,
correct,
right, is what the
yeah,
Americans took and started to analyze.
correct.
yeah,
It
Track
could be a part of
yeah.
yeah,
Part of their
their
probe. Yeah.
the
investigation.
evidence is
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyhow, if you just joining us, welcome to the issues room. We're discussing here on our 88th edition the issue involving Nathaniel McGill, the sanctioned and suspended State for Presidential Affairs Minister in Liberia. He had an interview with Al Jazeera, and we've been discussing the interview. We're continuing this trend. We'll be going to talk about his prayer because, in fact, the journalist asked him. Prior to that, we reminded you that we're on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here in America, we broadcast from Philadelphia and Delaware simultaneously. So, if you're here tonight, just let us know you're here. We see the number climbing up. That's good. But just come in, chime in. We'll be opening the line at 8 o'clock. Where you have the opportunity to contribute to the program, but Moses and Ansu, the journalist did mention, say, we saw you, sitting in the circle of a group of religious people. And he said, Liberia is a Christian state. I
Yeah.
went for prayer because, this kind of thing are on top of my head and not easy. So, what's your take?
I mean,
Well,
the
yeah,
question.
Moses.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. The question
No,
that I
go
would
ahead, go
like
ahead,
to
sir.
ask. The question that I would like to ask the suspended minister is, when did he become religious? Because I've never seen this man in a religious gathering like that. The only time I saw Magay asking for God's intervention when he was sanctioned. What do you think, Ansu?
But we're done. Look, this man like he can go a waking Mother Dukley, 20 Mother Dukley to pray for him. And somebody just mentioned here the Pope. Let me say this. There is something that happens to our country. Do you know why, President, we have built a church? Because he understands the gullibility of our people. Our people subscribe to this deification of the solutions to the problem, that some deity is going to come down and solve those problems. What you don't want to stay is God gave you an intellect to formulate the intellect and expand your minds to solve your problem. Not that you're forgetting God in the process, but you're using the wisdom that God's giving you to expand that. And these guys use the pastors in the country. These criminals that are masquerading as pastors in the country to literally exploit. McGill knows this. Imagery is very powerful because most of our mothers subscribe to this vision of oh God, we are leaving to God. And I always tell people that the thing I'm joking. God not in Liberia. Let me tell you why God left Liberia in 1990. When I say this, people say, "Oh, Dualu, why would you say that?" Let me tell you why I say that all the time. If you look in the Bible, I don't quote Bible verses. I just tell you God stays far away from the land where the people have become evil to one another. When there is evil, God moves far away. I'm a Christian. I understand God's in Liberia. I make this to say this. When the more we become evil to one another, the farther away God stay away from us. To bring God back to Liberia fully, we have to exemplify our Christian principles, our Muslim principles, care for one another. But when you take one person, takes 25. Do you know what $25 million can do in Riverside County? Public school and public healthcare systems. It can build roads. It can improve the infrastructure to up the standard of living of our people. When you take that money and you literally eat that money for yourself, you're killing your people directly. Not indirectly, I'm talking about directly. Go to
Directly, yeah.
JFK, go to these hospitals. And this is what we are doing to each other. Then we go to the church. Do you realize all I've been to Liberia here? I'm going in over there a few months, and on Sunday, everybody goes to church. On Monday, we lie on prices throughout the country. We lie about everything. It's almost impossible now to become a proper Christian in Liberia. The way the society is set up,
Don't
McGill
even
is
go to
exploiting
church.
that.
You go to church from church straight to the drinking spot. So
Thank you,
there's a disconnect here in our religious practices now.
thank
This
you,
charismatic, uh, uh, theological presentation coming from all over the sub region. All of these funny looking Nigerians and
thank
Ghanaians say
you,
the pastors coming over there and opening churches. They're not paying no tax, nothing. You saw what happened in Rwanda. Paul Kagame said before you open church, you gotta have a degree.
meet certain requirements.
Yeah,
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 there got to be some requirement. You can't
yeah.
just come from anywhere you
So,
start
so,
operating a
so the
church.
pastor then sat around. I mean, stood around him and was offering prayer. So,
Yeah.
but why he
And
didn't go to fucking clone church?
oh,
Because
but
why didn't he go for we have to pray for
Because
him?
he knows the devil himself lives in that church. He's not stupid. He knows. I'm not exaggerating. Can you imagine?
yeah,
Almost everybody that goes to that church, they want to in with the president, not for the purpose of serving God on Sunday.
yeah,
They go there
but
to be seen with the. This is exactly what
with the
it's not even a
yeah,
church.
that's the purpose. Yeah,
This is like a meeting ground for people to go and just associate with one another with the powers that be, so they can say, "Oh, I went to the fucking church. I get it, man. My business card, so you can call me." Oh."
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
It's not
And
a
So
that's
let's
church.
what.
start this in now. Let's start this in quickly. Nathaniel McGill has expressed that he wants to run as senator for Bone County, and
Yeah.
this is trending now on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys, what they do, they take the country's money,
Mm-hmm.
they give a little bit back to the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I say country meaning to the poor people who don't
Mm-hmm.
understand,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all in the plore of something for the personal aggrandizement,
Exactly.
something to come. So they make that preparation in a masquerade form that they're philanthropists, they're good, they're givers.
Yeah.
So all of this was around the corner. I enjoy the presidency with George Weah. And if he goes 12 years, then I'm secured. Then I will really be a serious millionaire. But with everything happening now, I don't think I may go back to the Ministry of State. And 2023 is around the corner. I
Correct.
built some structure here in Bone County. I've given back in Bone County. The pastor then here praying for me. I am a figure here in Bone County, so I'm ready to run. Gentlemen. So
Yeah,
that was plan B.
yeah.
I already laid the man future up. The man wanted to, he was hoping for 12 years to get richer and richer and richer. But now that he doesn't have, I don't think he has the gut feeling to say maybe will call him back over there. Because at the end of the day, is not stupid to do that. I mean, he would
No,
drag on it, but
he
the
won't.
Americans not going to give him,
No,
any
No.
opportunity.
no.
So McGill wants to go as senator.
Yeah, there are the charges against Mr. McGill and the others. These are serious charges. Except Liberia want to tell me that it wants to continue retrogressing because anyone going to vote for Nathaniel McGill come 2023 will be implying to the global community that he or she supports what he's accused of. The sanction says anyone who does business with any of the accused also will run the risk. And I hope the Elections Commission with this time, people sitting at that commission will be nationalists. McGill lacks the moral standing to contest any elected position in Liberia. It's the same as Bill 12. These people are being accused of what? Engaging in acts that undermines Liberia's ability to thrive. So these are serious allegations.
Moses, let me ask this quick. So
Yes,
you need campaign money. So if Nathaniel McGill started to spend money, we can go after him. That's more evidence.
of course.
If he's not smart, he better tie his hand and keep his money
Yeah.
in the
Where
evidence.
is he
They were
getting?
bragging. No, they were bragging and say, what is song Zombie Man? My money for the rest bag. So he better keep his money in the rest bag because
You
soon as
better
he
give it
start
up.
campaigning in Liberia,
Yeah.
that will be more evidence. We'll
Yeah,
go
yeah.
after him for that money.
Yeah. Where you getting the money from? You
Yeah.
gotta tell people.
He and the Bill 12 way. That Bill 12 will say you want to run in River
In,
Sets.
in Rewa says, he wants to go
But
as a
Better Bullshit,
candidate. Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
several things at play here. There are several things at
Mhm.
play here. First of all, let's get this straight. I believe Randy Jackson is running in Bone County. This guy's run 2 times already. I don't think
Okay.
it gives stands a chance in Bone County. I know Dr. Tokwa, the people hate him, but I think that the Tokwa stand a better chance. But here's the thing. There is something that happens in our country. People tend to overlook this. Whenever a person wrongs society heavily, what they do is they go to an elected position. They use that position as a protection for themselves. Look
Yeah.
at the war laws. Look at all
Mhm.
these criminals. And what they do is that they will kind of say they steal from the people and they give them a little bit back. And they use this position to shield themselves like the likes of Prince Johnson has done for all these years.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. I don't believe the National Elections Commission is going to register these guys because if they do that, it will be a slap to the faces of the Americans, okay, and to
Absolutely.
the international community. They're saying, okay, we've proclaimed to you that these guys are literally criminals. Okay,
Right.
we have substantial evidence to substantiate what we are proposing here. And you are telling us that you are not going to do nothing. You're going to register these guys. You can claim all day under Liberian law, he has his right. Let me tell you something. Liberia is a signatory to a lot of international conventions. Okay,
Absolutely.
your laws, whenever you sign an international law, your law, your domestic law kind of extends to that international sphere. So if your domestic laws will not fully cover what they're talking about, the international law will take precedence over your domestic law. We are signatory to these organizations. Honorable McGill has to understand one thing, and you mentioned that right. First of all, to run campaign in that location, if you continue to take your $5,000, you cannot run campaign in Liberia so easily.
Mhm.
Perhaps we'll dig up the mausoleum, we'll blow all on the marble tiling, the money that we put there.
But also listen to what Steen Bonge says.
Oh
She said
yeah.
he will give the money to the people and then the people will give it back to him. In a
Oh,
way, he will use
oh
that
my,
money to
in
keep
that
his money.
There's a,
process.
oh yeah, there's a, oh yeah, we
I
donate
think
it to him, right?
that's a smart way. That's a smart way.
First of all,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a smart way, but you know, on a Liberian election, that's so foreign. First of all, it's easy because if you take my water, you give my water 50,000 you have to give back to you. This is very
Yeah.
simple. We can go to my water hall. What are you doing to get 50,000?
Yeah. Where you got the money from?
Just my water get 50,000 so easily.
Nah. You
All
said
right,
equal
let me just
water. How
remind
you get
let me
50,000?
remind the folks here we're opening the line now. The line is 404-272-2808, 404-272-2808. You can call on WhatsApp and regular if you're here in America. Call and engage us before we move into our next segment. But we're discussing the Nathaniel McGill issue. I think this and it's unfortunate that he's the center of all of this. The other guys are kind of laying low, you know.
Yeah.
No,
Bill Toyaway and Serena Cephas. He kind of, I think he did a short interview, and he was
Cephas,
trying to
yes.
bring, come again.
I said yes, Cephas. He blamed the justice minister.
yeah, the
Oh yeah, I
Minister
was
of
about to say
Justice.
that.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, I was about to say that, and he
yeah,
puts all the blame on Musa Dean.
yeah.
You know, but those guys, they know what they're saying. They know exactly what they're saying, and I don't think they're convincing enough. Um, Even the best lawyers in Liberia will not save them from the situation.
No.
It is obvious that they must go. I think they got too reckless with the corruption. They got too reckless with I can do it and nobody would say anything because the previous government did most of that too.
Yep.
However, what they failed to realize is that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had a way to appease the international community.
Oh Lord.
She was a guru when it comes to financial corruption guru. That's what she was. She knew how to cover tracks. She knew how to whitewash things,
Yeah.
and of course, that's why people like Amara Kone can come back and say he wants to run because
Exactly.
he left Liberia 12 years sitting very pretty. We
Hmm.
know the story. We know Amara Kone from right around here.
My
He
man.
went to Liberia with nothing in his pocket. It's a
Silly. Yeah.
sad situation. Sad
Yep.
situation. And what bothers me is when they steal from the people, the grace of God gets in their head and say, go back and get the money, but they will want to go and give it through the means that they want to go into power, into
Correct.
public
Correct.
office. And that's
Correct.
how they will give that money. He will lose
Yep.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mr. McGill, Mr. Tuawe, I think they should just try to make sure they hold tight, the little cash they have. Because man, time flies. Responsibilities will always be there. Very soon they will be out of money. George
Well,
will be
brother
another one
Moses.
we throw money. Yeah, yeah.
No, you're not gonna get money. But here's the thing: one of the mistakes, when they try to make the Ellen Johnson Shirley comparison, and what
Mhm.
Ellen did was, look, I call Ellen wickedly brilliant. Ellen knew the international community. She had these technocrats, these experts, to shield her between her and the international community. Like you said, the well washer, they paint her as this beautiful, but Ellen was dirty in a international way, where she knew how. Most of the boards are not sophisticated. The money, they're burying some of the money. They not they already haven't stolen enough the way they're supposed to steal. So most of them will get hurt in a way that they did steal. We know this, but they were stealing 10,000 and then they get 15, get 20,000. Look, we will see some drinking Scots before the next 10, 20 years
Very
over.
soon.
Yeah,
Very soon.
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, so the lines open. Just call. We're here. Come and be a part of the conversation. The
yeah,
unfortunate thing is we want to talk about the positives of our country, and
yeah.
every time when we wake up, we tend not to
Only
find too many
negatives there.
positives. So many things happening, and the things that we can't overlook.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, Nathaniel McGill will lay him to rest. We'll come back to him at some point. We know that the next list is coming up soon.
Correct.
uh, from inner circles. We've heard some names, but we can't say it and we'll not say it. We'll wait until it comes out. And this time around, I talked about George Weah and the three-legged stool. It would be a bench. They would take a Vono mattress. They would take a bed from under him. He would not be sleeping on water mattress. He'll be sleeping on mat because some of the other people need. And when they finish calling it, and they force him to suspend them, then I don't know whatever government he will be running. But let him sit down there and not clean up. Let him play. So
But the
Moses,
boys like in Maya Shaw,
Yeah.
come again, Ansu.
no, I said the boys like in Maya Shaw there around President we are they eating him raw. You didn't
Yeah,
even understand. They're eating him raw. Look, CDC has some brilliant minds as George we are ostracized for no reason whatsoever. Most of these guys that formed the LFT, they were highly educated Liberians. Why did you alienate these guys? And you brought them low. Nobody say Alvin we said shouldn't get a job or Jefferson Coach shouldn't get a job. But these boys were not prepared for the position you give them. People
No.
that Mama Kababa strictly out of school, you give them these positions where you have top level professionals and you just ostracize these guys to your own detriment.
Yeah.
but let's just come since you called Jefferson Koji's name. This the mayor. I studied public administration. I had the opportunity to do internship and research program with the city of Wichita,
Thank you. Thank you.
okay, in Kansas. Uh, these guys are running government. These guys are running budget. These guys are running facilities, park and recreation, their own police department.
Correct.
They're giving business licenses and all of that. Monrovia, as a government, should be able to do everything for itself
Of course.
rather than Jefferson Koji be paid by the national government.
Yeah. Should
That
be able to raise his own money.
his
Yeah.
whole office, all of the employees should be paid by the national government because he doesn't know it. He doesn't know where to start from. He has no clue. He has no and there's certain jobs you can't learn on.
No, you can't. You have to go on somebody and be taught the ropes. This is why every organization has a hierarchical structure. There's a reason for that. Look, Volcano, I say this all the time. When you catapult people from nowhere into the legislature, from nowhere into a ministerial position, what you're doing is you're literally putting weight on that organization to fall. The less experienced they are, the heavier that weight is. This is why you see the entire government coming down. This structure has to stand. And part of standing this structure is knowledge and experience. But when you say, oh, that bull we eat, look,
But
sometimes I
let me add this to that thought, Moses, quick.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of piece of Sadie Tar.
yeah,
Very intelligent lady.
I know her.
You know, yeah. Went to school. I
Yeah.
mean, she's educated,
Yeah.
but there's no experience, none whatsoever. All
I
right.
ain't not you.
So you gave her the Ministry of Gender, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't do evaluation of your ministers to see, Mr. President, who's delivering and are they delivering as per the mandate provided, or they just passing around all day showing off, and then when you come with your military guard of honor, the line there and the shaking your hand, and
Yeah.
minister and introducing the minister, then you're not carrying the country anywhere because these people you gave them the job, you did it on party patronage, you did it on support patronage because they stood there with you. You guys came to power. She has the qualification, but she doesn't have the competencies. There is a disconnect with qualification and competencies.
Yeah.
For one to be successful, you have to have a degree of competencies which can be built up, on a job, but
Work
equally
experience. Yeah.
puts you in a job.
Hmm.
But if you have to go through what we consider evaluations, whether 6 months, 90-day, 1 year, month-to-month meeting, probing and saying, bring your deliverables, let me see what you've done for this quarter. And if nobody's doing it, then it just becomes business as usual. And it
Yep.
only takes few people who will rather want to aspire to grow to do that on their own and take the initiative. So the lack of accountability in George Weah's leadership, in George Weah's government, makes everybody to just do what they want to do. They're not growing, they're not producing, they're not productive, so the country just stagnant. That is what happening in George Weah's government because he himself not growing. So
Yeah.
the other people behind him would not grow.
Yeah, and in summary, like what you said, Volcano, Mr. Weah does not understand the complexities of what it means to be president. He doesn't. He has no clue. How do you expect this man to look for outcomes when he does not even understand what the role of the Ministry of Gender is? He does not understand the role of the Ministry of Finance. He doesn't know what the Ministry of Labor should be executing. He doesn't know what the Ministry of Defense in terms of outcomes. The police, he doesn't know any of those things. So how do you expect him to hold these people accountable? Even when he sit and talk to them, what are you doing? What are you working on? You can only do these things when you understand the functioning, the job duties and responsibility of all of these institutions. Unfortunately, and I'm not being overly critical, but Mr. Weah just doesn't have that level of education to understand all of these complexities. He's just a footballer.
It's
That's what
true.
Liberia is faced with, a leadership conundrum.
The problem here, brother Moses, you're
He
not
doesn't understand
overcomplicated.
anything. Yeah.
It's not only look. President Weah does not look. You know, in Liberia, we have this saying. People used to say when President Weah was running, "Oh, they didn't get school for president." And
Yeah.
you know, I
He
would just put
doesn't.
my eye there. I say, listen, a president is a manager. Look, we can't talk about tracking issues. There is no
Yeah.
organization. The
Yeah.
president we are office, you're supposed to go in see his office. You see the wards, gender ministry, foreign ministry, finance ministry, the indicators, where you're supposed to be at the end of the month.
Yeah. We're
Who's
supposed to
having
be
these
looking at.
meetings? What are these reports? When I tell you the president should be the most well-read person in Liberia, I don't mean go be reading books because you got so much things to do. You're a manager, you're like a coach, you're an organizer. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to run organizations. If people say, "Oh, how should we? Who will know can deliver in this level?" It's very simple. Look, at the level of a minister, at the level of a senator, at the level of the presidency, you must have attained certain level of training and expectations, and you achieve at that level and produce results to be at that level, to understand that level. It doesn't just come overnight. And I tell young people, look, if you want to know who should be your president, Google a guide to picking Liberia's next president. In fact, today I published a paper yesterday. It was in Data Observers on the Perspective Oliver. It's called A Simple Economic Guide to Fix Liberia. And part of the economic guide that I wrote, and I'm talking in the paper, is this. When you have to be able to quantify something, measure it to make sure the result you're seeking, first of all, you got to define what you want. As president, we have defined what he wants for the gender ministry. I guarantee you, brother Shelton, he hasn't. Has he defined what he wants for road production? Because if you can define it, if you can grade it, you can quantify it, you can track it.
Absolutely.
How are we able to do that? If you don't do that, hire the right people in your office. Look, professionals will now worship you, President We are. If I'm working for you, I'm not going to worship you. I'm going to give you results, but I'm going to worship you. But you won't go say, men are still to be, I mean, shout to me, be doing, you're beyond that. You know what I mean?
Even I don't want to see we are every day by working
Thank
his
you. I don't want to
government.
see it ever, really.
Yeah.
I want to see the president when I'm bringing deliverables. I want to see
Thank
the
you.
president when I'm Mr. President. I got a new vision here. I want your buy-in, but let's sit
Also
and
work
talk
on
about it.
this.
Yeah, Mr. President, what are you doing today? Oh, you hear the Jamaica result?
Yeah.
So I'm a con. Yeah. Come on, man. Can let's drink Hennessy and play some volleyball and basketball.
The country
Yeah.
crumbling.
Yeah,
That's
the country is
that's what he
falling
does.
apart, but that's the pleasure.
Unfortunately.
So many missteps here with this president and this government, and that's what people don't understand. For those of us who have at least gotten some degree of education and have worked in the private sector in America, and we understand the depth of accountability.
Yes.
We can't take for granted that those same depth of accountability cannot go to the presidency and funnel down to
Of
every
course.
sector of leadership in our country.
Of
And when
course.
we take this for granted, we're only hurting the country further. And you can see it. I give you a quick example. The foreign minister of South Africa and the American foreign minister had to sit down in South Africa.
Yep.
This woman, I think she outshined
Yeah.
Blinken. She
Yeah.
outshined him.
Yeah.
Very eloquent, articulative. And I mean,
Know
I
the
was
issues.
stunned. I was stunned, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Do you think that kind of woman would bow down to George Weah?
Oh, I
Of
think.
course not.
Do you think that really?
But look, Volcano,
So,
not a,
so I'm coming, Moses. It's not about the money. No, I'm coming. You're coming. I was just ready to add this point. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. So if you only come to the position because you want the money, then you will do anything to appease the president.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you come to the position because you want to deliver for the country, to look good, for the people to benefit, then you won't give a damn about the president because you are operating on the premise of why you were given the job
the
to
responsibility.
deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people like Samuel Toy who say Paku, you the best president, is
Yeah.
because he wants the money.
You
The
want
And
that.
Benevolent
Nathaniel
dictator.
McGill, and Nathaniel McGill who puts doors between he and the president's office, that no one, that even the press secretary who should be seeing the president every day to updating on issues in the country cannot see the president.
Yep.
Cannot see the president because he wants the money. It
Yeah.
Bill Twelve, who is at the National Port Authority, putting in his own cut corners, policies, and stuff just to take money, unaccounted for money, and he comes to the president with a grip. is because he wants the money.
That's it.
These people are not serious about taking our country anywhere. They're not
They will call
serious.
you
That's the
jealous.
point
They
I
will
wanted
call
to
you
make.
jealous.
No, you struck a very salient point, and just to piggyback on that, you have a minister of health and social welfare. The health system of Liberia is in crisis.
Hmm, that's
As
the
a
one.
president, right? As a top manager, he asks the minister of health to come and sit with you. Look, what is the situation at GFK? What is the situation with our hospitals? We have all these cases. I'm hearing all these things. People go to GFK, they are held because they cannot afford to pay this. What do we do to turn this around? That's the
But
kind of
why wouldn't
conversation.
the man even go there to see for
Yeah,
himself?
yeah. No,
You
but
should know.
I'm
From
just
his
saying
weekly
that as
briefing.
a supervisor,
Yeah,
when you
I know, but
supervise
even at
people,
that, you don't even have to call the minister. Go see for yourself because the people talking the thing every day. A man
yeah,
jumped to his death.
yeah,
A man jumped to his death because
mhm,
they brought the amount that he's supposed to pay.
yeah, you couldn't afford
You see, so you, Mr. President, should go and be visiting these places.
places,
Don't just leave everything, but you able to sit down, play soccer in the morning. Only you alone know how to
That's all he
exercise.
does,
You know,
you know.
so
And
that's a serious problem we're faced with.
yeah, and Volcano, like what you said earlier, right? That this lady that outshined the other individual that was on the interview. I had an opportunity of listening to Representative Wrestling Swakoko Dennis.
Yeah, today's interview.
Not today, but a
Oh, okay,
couple of days ago. I
okay.
watched one of her video, and she said, "Look, it is disappointing when you sit and talk to George Weah or
Very.
President Weah." She said the guy attention span is so short. He brings nothing to the table in terms of intellectual engagement. And there is a lawmaker talking about the president of the Republic of
I
Liberia
got
like
I got a better one for you. I got a better one for you.
that. Go ahead, Ansu.
The former ambassador of the United States to Liberia, Lena Thomas Greenfield. This is what she said about
Y-
President Weah. She
Yeah.
said President Weah has no original idea. Sitting and
See,
talking to the
that's
man is that you're sitting and talking to a brick.
a waste of time.
The thing is, look, President Weah was brought to our people have to understand the decision to elect a leader, it is not a joking matter.
No.
Likability factor is not what goes into that. It's the person's capability to be able to deliver to you that which the nation seeks. I yelled at the ball. That black diamond. You yelled
Yeah.
at the ball.
Yeah. The men are number one player. No.
Player, the
Yeah.
presidency, the man is reading. The look, you got how many ministries and agencies do we have? What, 28? I don't know. I'm just
We
guessing
have
here.
several. We have several ministries.
So many.
Yeah.
His job is to know exactly what's going through in the ministry at
In
any given
ministry.
day.
Yeah.
Weekly
Mhm.
briefings. This is why he's the most rare person. Say
Yeah.
what you were about Ellen Johnson Shirley with all the corruption that went on in between.
No man knew the
You went,
issues, my man.
yeah, she knew what was going on. As old as she was. And President we thought say, look, the man was never prepared for the position. He
No.
told us this. He ran away from any debate. He didn't want the position, but we forced him into the position.
But I think the problem here, and Ansu and Moses, is that we picked the wrong time. Our country is in peril
Yes,
conditions. Our country, it hasn't revived yet. Our
far from
country
it.
is still divided. Our country is still underdeveloped. Our country has not been able to create a robust economy, even
No
under Ellen
institution.
Johnson's relief. With all that she got, we still were not even growing food to feed ourselves. You understand
Still
me?
having.
And then you gave it to a person who taking the money that's supposed to turn the little economy around and putting it among here and man and sharing it. So we only hurting ourselves. Now there's a Monka J. Benson here saying that Dualu, you are talking about Koji Pisota, we say and other being inexperienced, but I can guarantee you are supporting your fake hero and inexperienced friend. Now, we never said Piso was inexperienced and
Nope.
incompetent. We did
No, we
say
didn't.
that she needs growth.
Very educated. Yep.
Had she been supervised and evaluated ongoing, evaluation should make improvement. Yes, Jefferson Koji is inexperienced. Jefferson Koji does not have the astuteness to be a city mayor of the Republic's city.
I tell
Take
They will
you,
call
Jefferson
you
Koji and
jealous.
send him to Vonjaman. Let him be in Vonjaman. You know what I'm saying? Let him be in Vonjaman and be mayor there, but not for Morovia. All right?
absolutely.
They will
So
call you
basically,
jealous.
that's
When you
it.
talk about your country, you'll be called jealous.
So there's
I
nothing
tell
there
you.
we're talking that is not factual.
Yeah,
You and I know it. What has Jefferson Koji done in Monrovia for 5 years?
but does he
Or
even
Arvin Wiese,
understand? Yeah.
the technical
What has
director.
Jefferson Koji done in Monrovia for 5 years? Jefferson Koji said he didn't come to Monrovia to be and city cleaner.
Poverty. Yeah,
No,
No.
he said he didn't come to be city cleaner.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
So that's just part of his responsibility to keep his city clean. He said
Yeah,
he want to part of
maintaining the city. Yeah.
it. You
They
know,
collect taxes from the business people. They collect garbage collection fees, but yet the city is overwhelmed with garbage.
even
And
parking
yeah,
fee. The people
and you
collecting
have a
parking
city
fee.
mayor who say, "Hey, I did not come here to clean Monrovia." So how does he expect Monrovia to be clean?
So Moses, let's run
Yeah,
to Ganta, Nima County.
yeah.
Okay.
The Ganta Rehabilitation Hospital.
yeah,
This hospital is owned by the Methodist Church, but over the years, they have been providing services. So government has some level of control. The government have individuals appointed to manage the facility. This is where individuals will
The,
struggle
the
with diabetes.
Methodists own the hospital or the Methodist provided the land?
Yeah, provided the land. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah,
It's
provided
a
the land.
government
Yeah,
institution.
yeah. A government institution provided the land, and so that is run by government operators. This facility has over the years been very effective in catering to individuals who struggle from leprosy, diabetes, and other serious medical complications. And the
Even
news
tuberculosis,
emanating,
yep,
TB.
yep.
yeah, TB, yeah. The news emanating from Ganta
Moses.
is that, yes. Did you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
Volcano,
hear
are
you.
you there? Mamela man is frozen. Oh.
He's frozen. Go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, what the news emanating from Ganta Nima is that recently workers of the rehab had to go on a go slow action
Yep.
because over the years, government has not been providing for them. Employees will work with these individuals with serious medical illnesses
Correct.
are not being paid.
Correct. For months.
And for months, people have been retired, but those positions remain unfilled by the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare.
Yep.
You have individuals providing one-on-one care that are not being compensated. So over recently, Nima County Senator Jeremiah Cohn had the opportunity to engage with the workers of the rehab to see what can be done to intervene in this crisis. Now, you tell me, Volcano, you tell me, Ansu, this is a government that boasts of what? Achievements. You pay people thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
Nathaniel McGill throwing money all over the place. George, we are building mansions all over the place. But people who are providing services to the most affected in the country are not being paid. Tell me, where are we in terms of health care delivery?
Brother
Yeah.
Moses,
Go ahead,
most
Yeah.
of the
Moses.
most of the
Mhm.
basic diseases that literally become absent in the rest of the world, we're still fighting.
Mhm.
Tuberculosis, leprosy, these Asian diseases. If in Morovia, the John F. Kennedy Hospital can barely have light, the hospital that I was born in can barely have lights.
Mhm.
What do you think will happen in my county?
I'm
Look,
telling you.
the concentration of the leadership in is just right around Jamaica Resort. It doesn't even reach in town. It's right around Jamaica Resort. This is the entire leadership of the country. Ganja is a foreign land as far as President Weah is concerned. It's a foreign land. In fact, look, if they allocate, just look at the budget. Last year's budget and every other previous year's budget. When they say they allocate $100,000 to BWI barely gets $40,000 by the completion of the of the of the
The
year's
budget, yeah.
Yeah,
year
the
budget
budget.
year.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you, the budget
Mhm.
year. They don't get that money. So these locations, they see them as foreign. Most of the people even go to country doctor. They prefer those country doctors, and they even because the government doesn't care about them. The nurses, they are putting their lives at risk in Ganta, in that city. What President
Yeah.
Weah doesn't understand is because they are stopping it in Ganta, they are preventing it from coming to Monrovia. That concept will elude him. You won't understand it because nobody lives in a bubble. We are all intertwined. I can get in a vehicle from Monrovia and drive to Maryland County. Nobody's going to stop me. I can go. So you can. The country is fluid like that. So if something like remember Ebola when Ebola first started, I was in the country during Ebola. When Ebola first
Mhm.
started on the border, we thought not reach Monrovia, but you can't stop those kind of things. So that leprosy could hit Monrovia, the TB could hit Monrovia, and now it spreads. It's going to cost more money. How much does it take to run that clinic up there? At the most,
To clean the
$100,000. But I want you guys to keep something in mind. President, we have spent $655 per day for his food every day.
wow.
$655. Imagine if he
Wow.
allocated $655 to that clinic. That's what he spends per day. The man kills cow every day for him to eat, basically.
Wow.
How is this equitable? I don't expect
And
you to
that,
eat dry rice as president, but at least let the other people eat some dry rice too. Eat
yeah.
your whole ass and cabbage. But that's why people eat some dry rice too. And what's happening to the country? Sometimes I don't understand it because these boys, I hate to use this, but for the sake of conversation, people understand this. The Congo boy there, they were eating with the country boys are so worse than the super Congo boys. It's ridiculous.
Of course.
The Congo boys allow crumbs to fall. And the people who, but the country boy, the crumbs they pour, you know how when we're beginning, you load it in your spoon and you put the paint on you. So the thing can drop inside. Then when you finish, you eat that other one from inside again. They pour them by the put that big water on the end. So one porking drops out to the common people.
Okay, can't even hit the ground, man.
They want to call they want to call woman won't call no crop for dog.
Now hear that, you know it.
Woman won't
and,
call no crop
and,
for dog.
and
So
German, let's do this right. How do you reconcile this for Canada? You pay a lawmaker more than 10,000 US dollars monthly. You have somebody who is providing direct care to somebody who has tuberculosis that's very contagious,
Extremely.
airborne, and they may go for a while, years without
Yeah.
a paycheck.
Yeah.
Volcano, how do you
I
reconcile that?
mean, just think about it. Just
Supply.
think
So
about the
that's supply.
susceptibility of the man's welfare,
Yeah.
Yeah,
even in the performance of his job responsibilities. They don't even have the kinds of equipment
They don't
to
have the
no,
equip
they
them
supplies.
don't.
when they're
They
providing
don't.
service.
They
But
don't.
the other thing that caught my eye in that interview was the facility is open. It's not even fenced in.
No, it's not.
No.
So for all these years,
Yep.
we're talking about successive governments
Yep.
that have come and gone. Did
Mhm.
not think about warding off this place, put it in fence to secure the population around there.
Nobody cares.
But the other
Even
piece
the
they
one
just
Congo back row. They won't Congo back row, the same thing.
no, it's fenced. It's fenced.
It's fenced, but you can just walk in.
They even did well with that one. They
Okay,
kind of
good.
improved it. Yeah, they did well. And I
That
think
one
it
is
was
closer
it
to the
was
capital,
it
right?
was Ellie's time. But
Yeah.
but the other thing that hit me when the man said, "Oh, I brought 100 bags of rice." See the
Yeah.
people jeering and jubilating.
Mhm.
100 bags of rice of your own money
Yeah.
because this rice is coming with is for re-election.
Of course.
This rice is coming with is to tell say my people, see I brought rest. If you put me by there, I will bring rest.
I'll bring the
Yeah.
Well,
soup.
how much is the rice? 100 bags of rice.
At the rate at the rate of $25 a bag.
No, $15.
Oh, 15, eh?
$15 for the 25-pound bag.
Yeah.
Gotta only rest the guy around there.
Mhm.
If you see real whole bag of rice, then it coming from America that the powerful rice. Right now,
Okay.
the country, the people, when they say one bag of rice, that is 25-pound bag.
Okay.
I just came back with me and it's $15.
Ghana was no one time bad.
No. Now
Yeah. Oh, it not
£100
it not the 100 pounds we used to eat
the,
it.
the hundred
Oh,
pound
Wow.
bag, the hundred pound bag that the
Uh-huh.
one that some of our Liberians here who's shipping the Pusaba
okay, I see.
from
Yeah.
Arkansas
Yeah.
will send that.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Volcano, I want to. We spoke about this on our show,
So
and people
listen,
keep mentioning it in
listen.
the thread.
So 100 bags of 25-pound bag,
It's 1,500.
100. So that one the people yelling for
Oh, my
one
man, what are
thousand
you
five hundred
talking
dollars.
about?
If you call right now, and say you take 100 bags. So,
Yeah,
but
Oh,
the whole senator,
yeah,
he got
yeah,
yeah.
100 bag of parboiled, I mean, Chinese rice or Indian rice.
yeah,
He yelling for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
Liberians have continued to be belittled by this thing called rest.
yeah.
1980, we 79 rather, we went to war, internal war for rice. 1980, we went to internal war for rice. 1989, we went to internal war for rice. Because you get them, you say, the
1990 oh, the same
yeah,
thing.
no, 89, the war started 89.
Oh yeah,
So
it is now right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm just saying that this rice thing, if you want to appease, if you want to make the people jump, if you want them to vote for you, just carry rice, my brother.
Yeah.
And it has not changed the mindset of our people. So I was just trying to throw that in when he made this donation of 100 bags of rice. Sounds so big, but it's $15 for 25-pound bag and it's $1,500. We can
Yeah.
raise $1,500 right here tonight on the issue.
Yeah. Tonight we
help
say we
out.
want to donate
Yeah,
this or to
exactly.
the rehab.
But they do that though. They do that though. Shelton, I'm actually you mentioned. I'm surprised you mentioned that. I'm actually reading a book right now called "Why Nations Fails: Prosperity, Poverty, and Power." What these guys do is they intentionally keep the people poor. They take all the resources from them. And then when they give them a little bit, the people feel like they're doing something for them. But I want to
Yeah.
mention something people have been talking about. We spoke about it on the show the last time. Most of the legislators currently they're realizing they may not get re-elected to next term. They
Yeah.
pass a bill. The bill's already passed through the Senate.
Oh
That if once
yeah.
you guys leave power, they'll be getting almost $6,000 a month for the rest of their lives.
Mhm.
That
Well,
means, yeah, once they leave
Yeah,
power,
they'll get 50% of the
yeah,
income for
of their
lifetime.
income for the rest of their life. That's not all. When they die, it goes to the wife. When the wife dies, it goes to the children.
Yeah.
And besides that, they want certain like office space. Once they leave power, mind you, the government can barely pay them while they're in office, or what the representatives do get paid, but they don't pay the civil servants. So that means every 6 years we'll add like 100 more people on top of this.
but Ansu, the man right now they're not paying Yeke Koluba, who is a sitting representative. Then
Thank
I
you.
didn't when I didn't want to go out there and be passing
Yeah.
around, retire. We can before you
Yeah.
get paid, you gotta bring the bill you wrote that benefited the people. If I'm president in Liberia,
Yeah, that's it. That nonsense. I'm talking about.
I throw that thing out in the street, man. I beg
Man,
you. What
yeah.
pay these people then after you have sat here for a
For
year
life.
and taking all the people and wealth and from them did nothing, then we should turn around and put you on our
That's
salary.
it for life.
But
Yeah.
we'll rather pay the experts who were experts in the areas in
Thank
Liberia,
you.
their
And
pension
still
salary, and
contributing.
pay these scumbags call themselves legislators and senators salary for life.
Yeah.
Don't let me be
But
president.
For
God,
life.
what
but
happened?
but Volcano,
They'll sit
unfortunately,
on the sour like Jenkins Scott.
yeah, unfortunately, the professionals who retire in government, some of them get barely $20 a month.
Absolutely.
These
Absolutely.
boys
You
want
tell me
20
that.
US dollars
bread.
a month. Some get less than $10.
These guys are just very unselfish. They're
No,
just wicked.
they're not
Very
selfishness. It's
selfish.
complete wickedness.
Yeah.
When you're talking about
You know.
witchcraft, that witchcraft there. Now,
You're gonna
And,
say
and
like you already in position, you're not delivering.
no,
Then we must turn around and pay you for not delivering when you retire.
for life.
You gotta be crazy.
So they hit
And
the
we'll
lottery.
go the same way you're getting you're doing your rationing dual citizenship, we're
Yeah.
rationing your pension too. Taking
Well,
yeah.
it's not even a pension because they didn't pay into no account.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
We serve a
it's
tailor.
like retirement benefit.
That yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's not even a pension.
I think you got to work in government for 25 years before you get a pension. And some of these guys getting $60, $70 pension, regular civil servants. Now,
Yeah.
these legislators, they leave power, they say after 12 years, this you get paid for life. Look,
Yeah.
even in America, the average income is not even near $6,000 a month. But you're not
But
working. They must just be paying you forever.
but I was doing a comparison, right? Our lawmakers in this great country here, most lawmakers will qualify for retirement benefits for Canada on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
The guy get less than $1,500.
And that's
In
money to pay
Liberia,
people away.
yeah, in Liberia, our lawmakers are saying that after you should have served 2 terms
Yeah.
and you
12 years.
retire
Yeah.
earning $15,000 a month, you will get
But
50% of that money for
imagine,
lifetime.
imagine a Carlos Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine a Thomas Fowler
Yeah.
Mhm.
who brags that he's one of the longest serving representative in the country.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
and the Carlos, they came around. Those guys been around for a while.
Yeah. Oh,
Drink
yeah.
sellers.
The
And they have
boss
not put
qualify. Oh,
anything back. They have not put
Yeah, they
anything back.
qualify.
my man. A Carol Gray, he goes to election, he loses. That man will walk away with 50% of his income on a while.
We'll say, don't tell that
Monthly
thing in my
basis.
heart. I think in that hole. It can. First of all, we can even afford it.
I want to judge. I want to. You see, they're making some of these. They're making some of these laws on a George Weah because they know that George Weah will just sign the paper. He will not read.
You don't read it. They just say, if I be sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If George Weah
Like,
will read that paper and sign it, then he really got serious.
my
problem.
man, they bring the thing to the man, they mark the SZ. They say, "Chief, right here, just put your signature right here."
All right? Even
It's not-
no, the
yeah,
X,
you
you
know.
see the editor, they put a highlighter.
Yeah. It's like, just sign right here. And the man finish signing, he finish committing the whole country, my man.
But
No,
what the thing is, it's not realistic because first of all, we cannot even afford that. Okay,
no,
we
it's
can barely
not.
make
It's not. It's
salary,
not
big pay,
doable.
This is
It
what
makes
look.
no
This is what
sense.
don't know how to steer from the country. If you're gonna say $500, people will still talk about it, but it's something at least you're getting something. In Liberia,
Yeah.
if you are not working, you're getting $500. This is a substantial amount of money. I still think
Yeah.
you should not get that money unless you serve at least a minimum. After
Yeah.
20 years, I can say, okay, I can give you $500. I get it.
Yeah.
In America, the average income in most cities, not even $6,000.
No.
Why would they
Not
pay
even-
these boys?
Yeah. Where's all that money? Oh,
That's why.
and guess what? They are saying, Volcano, that the former president, the former vice president, if any of them retires,
Yeah,
you will require to give them 50% of their income. You
yeah,
provide them 24/7 security.
for
You
life,
provide them transportation for life.
for life.
The
Medical,
chief justice,
everything.
the
Moses,
chief justice, the associate
Moses,
justices, all these
Moses,
people, yes.
don't
Yeah.
let me tell you tonight. Now, yo. Ellie Johnson Sirleaf was president,
Yeah,
and Moses Blah died in a chicken.
yeah, don't lead it.
The former president, the
Yeah.
3-month president. The man never got his immunity. He was sleeping mosquito or killing him to his death.
Yeah.
Ellie Johnson, the government that had all that money, she
Yeah.
didn't get the man nothing.
Mhm.
Listen,
Ellie
there
Johnson
were many nights
said,
I had to
Rudy
put gas
Bryant,
in the main generator.
Oh, man.
The man
They
call me,
made so
"Dualu,
many nights he
my
had to
son,
pull gas.
I put gas in a generator. You may probably cry. Probably was president, and so they put treating me. Then he will call me, in Dualu, because I have my operation in Painesville. Dualu,
Yeah.
he will come. He had one old car. He will come. I said, Papa, you get Papa 5 gallon and put it in. Papa, my son taking mosquito. And I'm me to know a former president.
yeah,
Now these
Yeah.
boys,
yeah,
when we give $6,000,
yeah,
God.
yeah. So let the man talk plenty. They think we will be there forever. He will sign
Yeah.
that bill, but the next president will not even what house they will go in. What house they will go in to go make a case. They see where they were closing the door. You got called about the other day. That the other senator and representative will close the door on them.
Putting your get outside.
People ain't got shame. They ain't got
Yeah.
shame.
Well,
No,
I don't know.
no.
The Babe had a massive fence way Bianco Golo factory. This thing
Yeah,
was
that Bona Farm era.
Mhm.
yeah, 2 acres of. And he had some cow that people brought from Nema County. The cow then was so dry. I felt sorry for the cow then. Because when they're in power, they forget that you're going to leave power. The reason
Of
why
course.
we stress for institutions and to build the governance process, because the government can protect you when you leave.
Mhm.
But the body will be there forever.
Look at Paul Thomas Awaji here say his father served for 40 years,
For the
including you
year.
Ima-
get $40 a
40
A
month.
years.
month. Can you imagine? $40 though, after death.
Yeah, 40 years.
And the man could not
And you
even
think
get what?
people
Forty
they will
dollars
serve.
a month.
How is that fair?
Yeah. You
Then
see
you look
that?
at teacher. You give a teacher, you give a doctor. At
Mhm.
least the doctor salary went all the way on LA. I think president we are carry up they give to 1,005 or something like that. A
No, my
doctor, a
man.
professional, 10 years of
Dualu.
education.
Dualu, right? All of this is happening. Schools in Bapolo are
Uh,
closing, no teachers.
real
Schools
sense.
in Rewase,
Yes.
schools in rural Liberia are closing doors, no chairs.
No care.
And
Man, no care.
somebody talking about paying 50% to a lawmaker who sat at the Capitol building that did not even submit one bill.
What you know, won't. My father taught Basso Hard in Buchanan for many years. When he came, it was just finished. You will not get that money.
That's it.
You just wave it to the state. He said, oh, Opa, and when you go to Buchanan, you know, the people have my papa yelling at you. Lala Henry,
Yeah.
I'm money. Because they won't give it to you.
They were not. They were not. You
You
know,
know,
man.
gentlemen, this is serious matter. I mean, and I like how casual we've come because these are the things that continue to keep our country behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have not gone anywhere, and we're not going anywhere, but we continue to regress.
Yeah.
So the other night, I was saying something about what is it that you, Dualu, you, Moses, myself, expect in our lifetime at this time where our country finds itself. What is it that you expect? What is it that you're really going to see change for Liberia? Because the reason I'm coming here with this thought is that we are 175 years of age. It means that we should already be extinct by
Yeah.
nature of our age
Mhm.
for the things that we've not done and the
Yeah.
things we've done to ourselves. The things we have not done that will have kept us afloat, that will have kept us a stable country, and the things we've done to ourselves that have brought us this far. So here we are. I think the three of us here maybe clocking 50s
Yeah.
in
I'm
the era of
45.
that.
In the 50s, my man.
So
Uh,
when
mhm.
you look at how much left for us,
Hmm.
how much left for us,
Yeah.
what Liberia do you envision seeing before you leave this earth? For all of these conversations we've had over our time here in the issues room, platforms, our professional background as journalists, Moses, Sandy, and myself, all of the things we've talked about. Tell me, gentlemen, start with you, Ansu. What Liberia you envision before you leave this earth? With everything that's happening now, we have not done anything to put something together. Nothing we've done so far. And we continue to say, oh, sanction, no sanction. We are is the man.
We'll vote for you.
Look, Volcano, that question is something myself has pondered every single day. I do a special show on every Sunday at 8 p.m. It's called Mr. Dualu's weekly message to the legacies of Liberia. That question scares the living hell out of me. I ask myself this: what would be my legacy to Liberia? I really do ask this question constantly, and and I was reading a book last month, Lee Kuan Yew, from first word to third word, the Singapore story. I'm pretty sure you heard about that book. It's a massive book. It was a 700 pages. It was a great read, and within a span, but let's use Uganda, our own country. Within a span of 10 to 20 years, Liberia could literally become a middle income country with proper leadership. I'm not talking about the legislature. I'm talking about a president who says, I'm going to Jerry in this thing. I'm going to Porky Gum in this thing. I'm not saying you should go outside the Constitution, but I'm saying you should become forceful. Look, George Washington always says this. He said, government is not reasoning, government is not eloquent, government is forced. Like fire is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. You cannot leave government to untrained hands. You have to force the issue. Our legacy can only happen in this. Look, I say this all the time. I don't think I will ever in my life ever hold government position. It's not something I ever want. But then again, I ask myself, if some of us we've learned a little bit, I'm not suggesting I know enough. If we stay out of this space, it's not making Liberia better. How are we supposed to change it? Because look, for kid, I'll tell you this: most of our people back home I don't fault them. Sometimes when they go on these threads, they say, "Oh, they don't know better. They have not
Yeah.
seen better." And look, we only knew better because someone all came to this country a little bit, but they don't know any better. In their minds, they truly believe this is how it's supposed to be. That they're supposed to eat cross and go and stand next to a fence and Edwin Snow come out and take one cup of red and put it in a sack and give it to the mother to go home with. They believe this is normal. They don't know
Mhm.
there is a greater probability for them to leave a society, to live in an equitable society where they too can have a future. How are we supposed to change this? This is why, because it scares me, I write these papers. I said, maybe my grandchildren will judge me and say I did something from how to improve the system, how to increase our revenue, common sense economic, how to protect our resources. I have tons of papers that I've written, published, because I want people to read them and say, oh, you did something. Because it scares me that I will not do something before I die. That's a question that haunts me every day. And I'm glad you asked that question. I'll give it to my brother Moses.
Yeah, it is good that Volcano asked that question. Like you said, we all want a Liberia where the rule of law will prevail, where the needs of our people will be met, where the people right to safety, the right to basic social services will not be seen as a privilege. I don't have to go to my supervisor house, or my children don't have to go to the home of their supervisor for the supervisors to say, oh, y'all get that man his check,
Imagine that.
because they work for it. So that's the kind of Liberia that I would like to see, where the basic needs of our people will be met. They will not be
Do
given
you
crumbs.
envision that this Liberia can be seen by you in this lifetime, Moses?
It is
That's the
doable.
fear here. That's the fear. Because listen, let me say this collectively: when people want to change, Moses,
Yeah,
they will change. But
yeah,
you're right here in America. You see how Liberians treat their own jobs here.
I know. I
There's
know. But
something about us, my brother. There's just something about us.
yeah,
You see how
but
Liberians treat their own jobs.
what I was saying, Volcano, is that if you want to be a change, or if you want to you want to see change, then you, the change agent, have to live the change you want. So basically, what I'm saying here is that we need nationalists who will ensure, who will put Liberia first in everything they do. That when you get in that mansion, or when you are in leadership position, it's no longer about yourself, it's about the good of the country.
But just the other day, and you're continuing your trend, but I just want to keep
Yeah.
stressing. Just the other day, I was in Liberia prior to the elections. The young people
Mhm.
said, we are as a nationalist. We have fought for the country. We have kept the country on the map. We have did this. We have did that. Oh, yeah, he's the best man for the country. Look at what the
But
nationalist is doing.
but
Look at
but
the
Volcano.
nationalist. But when Taylor told the man, say, my man, you want my job? He said, no, I want your job. But he knew he wanted the man job. Why wasn't he preparing as a nationalist, as the patriot? So I just want to, because if we I can be the nationalist, if we I can be the patriot, then who in the hell gonna be the damn patriot and the nationalist? Moses Ansu,
But
who the hell gonna be that? Because here's a guy who came from Gibraltar. Here's a guy who knew what poverty was. Here's a guy who lack of education but still ascended to the highest stage on earth.
yeah.
And then
But
he fails miserably at this level. Tell
so
me, man.
Volcano, like Answer said earlier, and you even said that too earlier. The greatest problem we have in our country is ignorance. The people do not know what the rights are. And I'm not trying to insult the intelligence of Liberians, but a greater percentage of our people who are being exploited, they do not even know that they are being exploited. Like he said, the people come, they line up, you tell the security, they wait for you for hours.
Hours.
You tell the security, oh my man, pay the people way. They say, oh, the man is nice. Of
Yeah.
course, you're not being nice, you're exploiting them. So We need people that will take that lead to say we need to provide for our people. This is for the good of our country. Our schools need to be upgraded. Let's use the situation of the rehab we're just talking about. These people work with people that have contagious diseases. Should these people be begging for pay for Volcano? They know their rights. But our national leaders, because of the personal ego, are paying little or no attention to them. You saw the people jubilating when they gave them 100 bags of rice. Because what? They don't have it.
Yeah.
People exploit the plight of our people. So we need to provide for our people. We have to help our people know that they have the right to live. They have the right to life. They have the right to be treated fairly and begin to provide for them. Anything other than that volcano, the Labrador you and myself looking at, that Labrador will never come.
Okay,
I would like
but
to
I don't.
stop there.
I honestly don't envision this Liberia again in my lifetime. I was very hopeful, and I was hopeful to the point that even all of the people now who are wanting to be president, right?
Mhm.
When you see an Amara Kone comes in the picture, that just deepens my regret for being here
Okay.
to have this conversation. That just tells me that Amara Kone wants to be president in Liberia with a track record of criminal behavior.
It is my understanding that he wants to be senator in
Oh,
Montserrat County.
okay, whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's come. Okay, so Senator, what is he
Mhm.
bringing to the table? What is he coming to do as a senator? What is he going to represent? Isn't he going to represent the same pension scheme or retirement scheme? Isn't he going to represent the same $15,000 to $20,000 salary? Because people, psychologists say past behavior predicts future behavior.
Yeah.
You understand me? So if
Mhm.
Amara Kone is one of those people that I'm looking forward to help shape the destiny of my country, then I don't think it's going anywhere. If Prince Johnson thinks that he's going to be a senator for lifetime in Nimba County, and then until Prince Johnson dies to be replaced, then my country is not going anywhere. If Milton TJ, who's just want to cut corners and take bribes all day, would be lifetime representative in
Yeah.
Sano County for my country, then my country is not going anywhere, Moses.
Not going anywhere. Not
So
going anywhere.
that's why I'm afraid because it's
It-
three branches of government.
yes,
Let's be practically clear here tonight. It's not just the presidency, but
mhm,
if we have a very solid,
yeah,
strong,
yeah.
intelligent House of Legislators,
Mhm.
then we can challenge the presidency and hold the presidency foot to the fire. And then we make laws to for the constituents who put us in those positions, who stood in the rain, sweat, blood, and tears. You understand me? That's why I continue to give up because I haven't seen any change. And it hurts me. It hurts me. It's bitter. And some people don't give a damn. Some people say, oh, yeah, but you die and go. So what the need? Our country will be here.
Yeah. We
But
have
who
an
inherits
over powerful executive.
the country? So
Well,
that is why I'm afraid, Ansu. And I think
yeah,
you see where I'm coming from.
it's justified. But look, I don't believe the legislature can play any role in Liberia because there's so
No.
many. Only the president. If he or she truly wants the country to change, the country will change. Only the president. But look, George Orwell said this best. He said, people who elect corrupt politicians are not victims, they're accomplices. And we were doing something. Sometimes I beat up on myself, but don't think you are not doing anything. The mere fact you come on the show, take your time. We could be hustling, get a second job, everybody working from home, they're doing something else. But we come to let our people know, to pat the veils from their eyes and say, listen, what you're doing is increasing your poverty level. In order to reduce this poverty level, you have to change the way you think. For me, I will continue to give this message. That's all we can do. That's all we can do because we are no longer taking Kalashnikovs and going to the jungles of Liberia and coming. We don't want that anymore. But all we can do is talk to you. If your current condition, like I tell people sometimes, oh, no matter what we do, I say, listen, if your life, unprecedented we are, it is as great as you think it should be, continue to vote for President Weah. That's your legacy. This is what you want for your children. If you want to increase the hope of joys in our society, if this is what you like, go ahead. It's Zogorization. If you want a president that's keep bukaking all over the place, bukao, if this is okay for you, go ahead. But you have to understand there are direct consequences to the decisions you make, whether you intend them or not. And the illiteracy rate is killing our society. How do we begin to educate?
But even with the nearness to social media and all of the noise, the conversations being held, if they can only have a refined, mindset.
They don't have access to listen. President Weah has made social media expensive intentionally. It's a policy on the part of his Joe Weah administration to make calling or going on Facebook Live very expensive.
I know.
Because he believes it's to his detriment.
Yeah, I was there the other day. The tariff to put on. Yeah.
Like you and myself, like for instance, when I go to Liberia for 30 days, I hate buying the scratch car. I'll just go to the website and do the 30-day. They have a 30-day plan.
Yeah.
That's a better option. You and I can afford it.
But the thing was $35 and going to $80.
Yes, $80.
$80.
And probably now it's $100.
And this is not, and it's still rationed. It's still rationed. I'm paying $60 for my cell phone bill here in America with unlimited data. Call Mexico, call Canada, unlimited.
Anywhere, yeah.
Now I should go to Liberia and pay $80 to be able to be restricted to only Celcom to Celcom, then some ration meetings for Lone Star, some ration meetings for America, then I get limited on data. What type of nonsense is that?
So,
but the truth there is, that's my fear. So we can do all we want to talk about. I am afraid.
Yeah, I'm
even
afraid.
with the lineup for 2023, my brother, the lineup for 2023, I'm still afraid. I'm not going to mince my words here tonight.
Let me tell you my prayer. I have this prayer to God, I hate playing. I have this prayer every time when I get dollar, I will say, God, let me win the lottery. I will go run for president in that country. Look, I can be telling God, I will be the best for my people.
So you can go and take it over.
Yeah, not just to take it over and say, listen, I will use, because look, we must be led. Our people are dying for leadership, but they don't even know it yet. You have to show it to them. Look, let me tell you the story of Rwanda. When Paul Kagame first came into, you had to understand that the situation of Rwanda was far worse than we were. They didn't think he could do it, but he had a vision. And this vision was going to be actualized.
I think not to cut you off, but just to add, Rwanda did not destroy the infrastructure.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that was what helped.
It was key too, but what he did was he built upon it. But
Yeah.
he knew a whole intel. Look, it's the same thing that Mao did in China. There was a guy after Mao called Deng Xiaoping, and he the one actually to open up China. What Mao did was he realized that people were so illiterate, they had re-education camps. And people thought it was bad because if you don't reacclimate the people to a certain way of thinking, look, there's an inferiority complex in Liberia. And what people believe, they're supposed to be like wet chicken. You know when it's raining, you see the chicken against the wall. Our people, some of them very believe that how they're supposed to live. We are arguably richer than Denmark. We are richer than Sweden. We are richer than Norway. Per capita, we are richer. Yet we rank the third poorest country in the world. Why is that?
But who is this girl? Just on your back here with your friend who want to run for senator. Who is your friend trying to run for senator?
I don't know. But maybe the Henry Costa she's talking about.
My Henry Costa is far better as compared to some of the guys in the Senate.
Yeah, most of the guys. I mean, you bring intelligence.
Our country has a long way ahead.
We know about the honor the eating too. Like the other
This is the country. This is the country. And
bringing the intelligence, bringing all of that is great. But when you compromise yourself, then that's trouble.
Yeah, but and quickly, if I may just do a comparative analysis, Sir Joseph and Henry Costa, they are not comparable. Sir Joseph is Maserado County is under. Oh yeah. Henry Costa wants to go for Sir Joseph's position. Sir Joseph, Maserado County, in terms of representation in the Senate, Maserado County is underrepresented. Sir Joseph is of no relevance. He's making no contribution.
Yeah, but
He
you see,
does
Sir
not.
Joseph is very
First, he
smart
does
in
not
terms
even
of
articulate the issues. You
no,
can't
they
put
don't
that
care
man on
about that.
par with Henry
But you
Costa.
know what? We gotta get Costa in
Yeah,
on
yeah.
on
Yeah,
on,
we're
on,
trying to
on the
bring Mr.
platform.
Costa in,
Yeah, but Brother
Don't
Moses,
discuss it.
I
Yeah,
want to say
Let's
something though.
discuss the man
yeah,
candidacy.
I
yeah,
want to say something, and Brother Moses.
yeah,
Sir Joseph understands something that most Liberians be taking for granted. He understands the Liberian psyche.
yeah,
The
yeah.
reason why he come in and beg for old school boss and carry, and I see the man doing something,
Yeah,
they
that's
look at
it.
their own money. Oh, Sir Joseph is using the name of Liberia. He comes
Yeah,
and beg in our name. He
yeah, and
goes
beg
back
for
and
the
begins
old
a
bosses and
philanthropy,
take them.
right?
Yeah.
Then he said, "Oh, Ansu O.A, even the ambulances that were given to him."
I mean,
Look,
Mongo J fighting here the match. You see,
So
Costa,
for you for Sir Joseph, eh?
yeah.
Henry
hey,
Costa,
Monje.
Henry Costa is 100% better than Sir Joseph. Yeah.
Well, for me, I'll reserve
Yeah. Well, I
my position.
mean, as someone who follow the politics, I'm telling you, if you put those two people for a debate,
Oh no,
It's
no,
it will
our
just
Costa.
be
people
an
don't
easy
care about those
ride.
things.
No, no,
Yeah.
don't do that. Costa or Isa Joseph.
Yeah, you will eat, but our people
Yeah.
don't care about it.
But the people won't care. You're right.
They
The people
don't
won't
care.
care. Yeah, the people
Yeah.
won't care. The only
Yeah.
thing is that Joseph, I mean, he got a little experience being
Yeah,
there.
the man will say
Oh,
I brought
Yeah,
school buses, oh.
yeah.
yeah.
A
The
big
man will say,
school.
you forgot I'm the Ebola hero. The man can be messing with me. Ebola hero is
He's
back.
that Ebola hero.
People, they didn't
Oh
get him paid
man,
for
I tell
that.
you,
Let him go
Liberia,
sit down.
Yeah.
So we're going to
Liberia.
close the show.
Yeah.
9
Yeah.
o'clock.
So,
Um,
gentlemen, 1 minute
Yeah.
each. Let's
yeah.
let's let's close it up. Parting
And
word.
Well, at the end of the day, for me, Liberia matters. We have to keep talking. Sometimes we feel like we're not having an impact, but trust me, you are. For instance, every time you run your show, sometimes when I'm going to work in the morning, I will tune into the show and watch the show. The
thank
numbers
Thank
may
you.
not be high in the beginning.
Thank you.
yeah.
Next day, you see the number going over 1,000. People
Yeah.
are listening. People are
Mm.
listening. We cannot stop because before we never used to talk about Liberia the way we supposed to. So we got to keep talking, and hopefully somebody will hear us and say we can do better because we're
Yeah.
capable of better now, Shelton and Moses. We're capable of better. We just have to
Yeah.
want better. At the end of the
Mhm.
day, thank the audience as always.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to say thanks to our many viewers globally for coming. This discussion was nothing personal. It was about Liberia. Because we love Liberia, that's what we want our political leaders to continue to do good for living conditions of our people to improve. And I would like to finally wrap it by making this advertisement. And Mr. Shelton, please forgive me. We got information that the People's Liberation Party, the PLP, they had a scheduled tour for last weekend in the May West. That tour has been rescheduled for the 16th. The tour will begin from the 16th to the 18th. The political leader, Dr. Dana Cassell, the chair of the PLP USA, and other executives will be in the state of Minnesota, the Twin City. They're going to be in Minnesota. And then it's also our understanding that from Minnesota, the group will be headed to North Dakota. The reason is to introduce the PLP to Liberians in those cities or states. So it's our hope that people will show up to listen to Dr. Casal and his PLP folks. Thank you, Volcano. Thanks,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Answer.
Thank
Yeah.
you, John. Let me let you go. Let me let
All
you
Mhm.
right,
go.
sir.
We'll catch
Thank
up.
Sure.
you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So my parting here tonight is that irrespective of my fear that I wouldn't see the Liberia I'm envisioning before my lifetime is expired,
Mhm.
I would change my thought because I'm a Christian who believes in God and I rather believe in his power,
Yeah.
and his power is unquestioned, is unmatched, and he's capable of doing anything, of changing any condition.
Absolutely.
Irrespective of the situation in Liberia, God, with his infinite grace, can change our country. I look to the book of Chronicles that says, my people who are called by my name, can turn away from their sins and all their wicked ways and pray sincerely, I will hear from heaven their cry and I will heal the land. I'm optimistic that if some of our religious leaders were serious about going to God and really praying for Liberia and being dedicated to it, not putting minister in the church because you want big offering, not bringing government officials in the church because you want big offering, but going in sackcloth and in the closets because they are the ones now called by God. And if they can really, really commit to praying for Liberia, God will from heaven hear the prayers.
That's true.
God will from heaven hear the prayers because the ordinary people are not praying. Moses, you go to Liberia, the ordinary people have given up. They're just walking zombies. They're just living day by day. I think that our religious leaders are also contributing to, the backwardness of our country, the lack of us moving forward because they're not honestly praying. And it only becomes cumbersome when all of these charismatic young African preachers coming from all over the place and opening churches and preaching prosperity gospel, pillaging from the pockets of the people. That's where we find ourselves. But again, I will reunite my hope. I will be hopeful that I will see a new Liberia in my lifetime. And even if I didn't enjoy it, but just seeing something, I would be comfortable when I die and go, and I know that Liberia will remain in a better
Thank you.
shape. So it's my prayer. But again, I
Yeah.
want to thank all of you for coming through tonight. Flomo, Livingstone, Florence, Kingsley, Nanin Bobe, if I got the name right, Judah Far. Judah, what's happening, my man? Thomas Awaji, thank you so much for showing up again. Emmanuel Jackson out there in Massachusetts. And Emmanuel will be coming in your neck of the woods. We should be in Massachusetts the end of the month for the Association of Liberian Journalists
In the
annual
Americas.
conference. Will be convening and converging in Worcester, Massachusetts, the end of the month. So
September
Emmanuel,
20,
you can
September
come.
29 to the October 2nd.
So you can come hang out with the boys. Monka G Benson, James Fasokwe. I hope you getting your bags packed for the convention because you got to be out there with us. We also want to Terry Canine. Hi man, how you doing, my man Terry? Been a while. Yeah, your first time here. Listen, always come back. This is where we discuss the things that matter, and the conversation is good. Tenen Cooper, Adiaha Umu, thank you all the way out there in Australia for joining us here tonight, and everyone else. Mapu Hall, thank you so much. Stim Bongay, it was good having you here with us tonight. And we just want to say thank you to everyone. Continue to share the link, spread the word. Doris, Tony, and Thompson will be back here Friday
Yeah.
with another production. Until then, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we say good night to all of you. Moses, it's
Yeah.
good having
It
you.
was a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Great show. Thank you.